Welcome to this presentation of the Customs Brokers Exam October 2025 Open House Discussion and Review, hosted by myself, Rennie Alston, CEO of the American River Group of Companies and the Alston Group International Trade Consultants. It is my pleasure to host this class format for the trade community. A little bit about myself and the process will be covered today. The Alston Group, again, has been providing customs brokers license preparation training for more than the past 20 years on various platforms that include the World Trade Institute of New York, the City College of New York, Lubin School of Business, and Pace University, and the World Academy. We take pride in providing a platform for individuals to incorporate and develop test-taking skills in order to achieve this professional goal, this personal and professional goal of attaining your customs broker's license. So first, I want to congratulate you all on your decision to pursue your broker's license. And the purpose of today's class and overview and open house session is to provide you with clarification of information that will complement your efforts forward. So as we look at the objective of any effort, our promise and professional objective as educators and trainers and providing assistance in this effort is to provide guidance and informed compliance training to the serious program participant with aspirations and a professional goal of preparing for the customs broker's exam. So many people ask me throughout my career of education and training, when it comes to this topic, what is the number one eligibility criteria that we use at the Alston Group to vet our students to move forward? And we don't accept students just because you pay a tuition fee. We accept the serious-minded professional who has an aspiration to not only dedicate their time, their effort, and to be open-minded to embrace one of the greatest educational efforts that I believe is available today. We pride ourselves on the platform of our tutorship in a one-on-one tutorship platform in a group setting. We are available throughout the entire scope of the class format. We're available for the 4 months of preparation through advice and mentorship as your dedicated training lead. So we don't just host a study group. We are educators, we are trainers. Sometimes in this day and age of chaos and understanding the international trade format, we become a psychiatrist for you, a coach, and we hold your hand in the preparation process. So we are not an online course or a correspondence course that simply says log in 1 hour a week and you'll be able to mature through the process. No, it requires the dedication of you as a test taker to commit to the 4+ months of preparation. And we'll talk about the time frames per week, per month to participate in bi-weekly lectures every other Sunday and complete your homework assignment. And if you are serious with that commitment, as we will lay out all of the information today, then you will be in an excellent position to obtain a passing grade on the broker's exam. And that's our goal, to separate those who have an aspiration of just something to do, because we can offer many other things to do other than this effort. If that's your goal, if you are looking for something to do in international trade, customs, import, there are a lot of courses you could take. But if you are serious about obtaining your customs broker's license, then this is the platform for you. So we look at what is this customs brokers exam overview? What really does it entail? And there are many people, again, who have an aspiration but say, okay, so what am I going to need to do? Well, what we bring to the table again is professional guidance. Our process includes hand holding through the test preparation process. And in every open house, I think the purpose should be to explain exactly what's going to happen, right? So that the expectations are understood on both sides. And we bring to you that hand holding process, the utilization of live lectures to explain subject matter to each participant. So, what we do is we assign homework, reading assignments, homework, workbook exercises. We assign test examples for you to complete. But when we give you a homework assignment, we will then meet at the end of a 2-week period, and we will have a live lecture to explain to you what you've read, to explain to you things that you need to know about the subject matter at hand. Because this test is an open book test. It is an open book, multiple choice format test that does not test you on how much you know. It tests you on how well you can reference material within a 4.5 hour time frame in a multiple choice format to obtain a successful passing grade of 75%, which is 60 correct answers out of 80 questions. So our live lectures, first and foremost, explains the subject matter, because if you're being tested on how well you can reference material, then goal one is for us to get you familiar with the material. We offer one-on-one explanation sessions as an available option to you, in addition to the lectures that we hold for the group. That's why I say this is an individual effort that meets in a group format, because each of you are going to be responsible for your own reading, for your own research, for your own homework. And we'll talk about how we, again, collaboratively work as a group, and we actually share your homework exercises with each other, because after you do a reading, you're going to create multiple choice questions of your own. You're going to send that in as part of your homework. And then we are going to switch those questions with other classmates to add to the ability to become more familiar with the material by completing test questions that your classmates have created that no one's ever seen before, all on the same subject matter that you have read and that we review in those live lectures, all as a part of becoming familiar with the material. The test format reviews are in a group setting, again, with an individual explanation available for scheduling upon need and request, which means we meet on Sunday. We have a live lecture. You have the ability to contact us and say, though you have given that live lecture, though those live lectures are recorded and provided to each student, I still, as a student, would like to meet with you and review on a one-on-one format sometime within the 2 weeks until we meet again, whether it be one evening, one morning, or one day, to review something that maybe I need a little bit of extra explanation on. That is available to you as part of your class tuition fee. You know, the test, again, as I alluded to, is not about how much you know, it's about how well you can reference the material within a specific time frame, because it's a timed exercise. It's 4.5 hours, 80 questions. So time management drills are utilized and emphasized, and we monitor your success with you. We don't put you out on an island and say, hey, you have to complete this by then, and if you can't, then the test is not for you. No, we work on time management skills. We work to develop you to a point where you can complete on a target goal of 25 questions in an hour. If customs has the expectation that you complete just under 20 an hour, we prepare you for 25 per hour. In the event that there's a disruption in your thought process, in the execution of any particular questions that may add additional time here or there, on your worst day, you'll be able to finish the exam. As instructors, we are available for, again, the duration of the course, for questions, requests, guidance, and encouragement. We don't just lead, again, a study effort. We help guide, navigate, and we are participants in the process. So I'm available to you from the start of the class through the end of the class for any questions, any requests for information, guidance, and again, to jump on any extra calls, meetings, online, virtual, or even in person. So I gave you a snapshot, but let me go into more detail about the broker's exam itself, because I think there are many people who misconceive what the broker's exam is all about. The purpose of the broker's exam is to determine an individual's ability to reference information regarding customs and related laws, regulations, and procedures that include bookkeeping, accounting, and all other appropriate matters necessary to render valuable services to importers and exporters through reference of areas that are contained in the 4.5-hour exam, which is talked about in the Customs Federal Regulations 111.13, paragraph A. Again, the test is not about how much you know, but it's how well you can reference the material within 3 specific references, and we'll talk about the references shortly, in a format that allows you to complete 80 multiple choice questions within that 4.5-hour time frame. So step 1, this class develops you to become a good test taker. Time management, reference resource familiarization. Whether or not you can answer a question when the material is closed, when you're not looking at the book, that's not what this test is about. This test is about when given the references and resources, hard copy and electronically, are you able to navigate through your materials in a sufficient process, effective and efficient process to answer 80 questions in 4.5 hours, A through D, in a process where 75% of those questions are going to be a correct answer, meaning you can make a mistake on 20 questions and still pass the exam. That's what the exam is about. The test-taking format is offered electronically. It is an administered exam electronically to be taken on the platform of an in-person format at a test-taking facility that tests the ability, again, to reference the resource information in an open book format. Now, Customs does offer remote testing options, which allows you to be able to take the test at home in a space that you will designate in your own environment, alone and independent of any other individual's presence during the exam. We can discuss your preference once you prepare for the exam. I am a proponent of the in-person electronic exam at a Customs designated test-taking facility, because I don't believe Customs has matured the process well enough to eliminate distractions and disruptions from an at-home testing process, and they are working on it. And I'm sure the day will come where the at-home option is just as reliable as the in-person at an electronic location. It's just not there yet. We can review your options and your preference individually prior to, because you don't have to make up that decision until 1 month prior to the exam. The exam structure, again, 80 multiple choice questions. A score of 75% is required to pass. Exam topics usually include entry of merchandise, classification of merchandise, free trade agreements, valuation, broker compliance, powers of attorney, entry of merchandise, free trade agreements as it relates to origin eligibility, country of origin marking, drawback, bonds, foreign trade zones, bonded warehouses, warehouse entries, trademarks, intellectual property rights, fines, penalties, forfeitures, and other subjects pertinent to brokers' duties. It may seem like a scope of a lot of different subject matters, but these are core basic components that are embedded in the import conversation. And Customs says you don't have to be an expert on any of these specific topics individually without the reference of the harmonized tariff schedule and the Customs federal regulations. That's the purpose of the exam, to allow you to use the actual customs regulations and harmonized book and customs directives to look up these topics and to reference it and to provide the best and most appropriate answer of those that are offered for consideration on the exam. Examination reference materials includes the Customs Federal Regulations, Title 19, Part 4 through 199 and 200 to the end. Loose leaf, Harmonized Tariff Schedule of the United States, acronym HTS-US, and the Customs ACE Summary Instructions and Guidelines, as well as the Customs Directive on the Right to Make Entry. Examinees may bring any of these materials to the exam to assist them to reference, research, and answer any question and locate the correct answer selection, A through D, inclusive of any test preparation materials that you develop throughout your preparation. We at the Austin Group are going to give you a class manual that is like a study enhancer, a time management tool to help you answer questions in a more concise and exact process to eliminate distractions of extended time requirements, like a quick reference guide, like an explanation of timetables, like an explanation of valuation, like an explanation of bond requirements. So we give you study enhancers that help you navigate and answer questions on a more time efficient manner. Again, the reference list is itemized as stated on the previous slide. Harmonized book, regulations. Many people ask me, so of this, what do you give us as an instructor and what do we have to get on our own? As a test taker, you have to obtain the Harmonized Tariff Schedule of the United States. You have to get the Customs Federal Regulation. I provide you with, in the study class manual, the ACE summary instructions. I provide you with the right to make entry. I provide you with the ACE entry summary process rules. All of that is given in your study enhancer class manual. Materials are to be ordered again and available for the first class session, which will start on June 22nd. There is a contact email link in your registration information in our online reference, as well as in this link to Thomson Reuters, which is the Boskage division of Thomson Reuters, who offers a 10% discount for all of our class registration participants, with a discount code that can be provided to you at the time of your registration. And if you've already registered, we will make sure that that code is applied to your purchase of the Regulations and the Harmonized book, which average, again, to be offered on their current list. Your order, we always say order your reference materials again upon registration, but if you haven't, make sure that you order it as soon as possible, because I'm going to assign a pre-class reading assignment that includes information directly from the federal regulations. You can access them online in the interim until the books arrive, but it should take Boskage and Thomson Reuters about 3 to 5 days to send you the information to the hard copy references and process your orders. Again, the test is an electronic test format. Examinees, test takers should note that there is a time that is located in the test taking platform that allows you, separate from what you may be used to in hard copy test formats, that allows you to keep track of time as you go through your exercise. And at the 10-minute remaining mark of any exam, the timer will turn red. And again, we walk through a practice exam with you, and you will have plenty of time to prepare in this format, though we will send you electronically copies of previous test questions to complete. We will also give you access to an electronic testing system that will get you familiar in about 5 minutes with how you navigate through the electronic test format and go forward and back and skip some questions and leave open questions to go back to within the 4.5-hour time frame. So you'll become used to that navigational skill set in about 5 minutes of going through a practice exam. After the exam is administered, Customs makes all efforts to post the exam as soon as possible. But Customs, again, will distribute what is called the Customs Exam Answer Key on their webpage under Past Customs Brokers Examination. So, Customs says you should receive an answer back on your test and a result within 4 to 6 weeks after the exam. So your examination is the 3rd week in October of 2025. We will await the official test announcement to confirm the actual date. However, to check results, you can always check the Customs website. Exam result letters, again, will be emailed to all examinees. Again, if you have any questions about your timing of your response, Customs makes status updates available through broker management at cbp.dhs.gov, which we will go through in the tutorial of the actual class. So again, our preparation process remains constant. We've been doing this with a success ratio of over 70% in recent statistics because it works. We vet our students, number one, so that helps us keep our success ratio up. We include live lecture format, so it's not a pre-recorded lecture. It is a live lecture that gives you an opportunity to ask questions. We meet on alternating Sundays from June 2025 through October 2025. Our class time frames are 9:30 a.m. to 12 noon. So keep in mind, all of our classes are recorded. So if you would like to listen to the actual recording again, that is part of your tuition fee. Everyone will be sent a class recorded version of every live lecture, normally 24 hours after the class. So on the following Monday, we meet Sunday morning. The next day, you're going to get the recorded version of that particular class. That helps complement, again, a review for each of you. So you can always go back and listen to it, not only in that next week, but weeks and months later. We provide the tutorial assistance again from June through October. We are available, myself directly, and depending on the amount of inquiries, my team of consultants, all licensed individuals, all very familiar with going through this process, and educators themselves. We are available on a one-on-one tutorial basis. Sessions are available based on need and the participants' availability. We understand that you have professional careers and travel and personal commitments. So maybe the one-on-one tutorials needs to be off hours, right? We are flexible. The class preparation manual, again, will be provided to each student, complete with the study preparation and test taking reference assistance tools, again, that I refer to as a mature version of a test assistance reference data platform that test takers in the past say to me it was always say it's a tremendous assistance to help finding answers in a short period of time and eliminating the obstacle of repeated research and the frustration of not being able to find a referenced answer. We assign homework throughout the course, weekly reading assignments of the reference material and the harmonized tariff schedule. We recommend that you spend 10 to 15 hours a week on study and homework completion, but not more. Our goal is not to have you burned out by test day. Our goal is to walk you through a methodical process so that the best exam you take is going to be that October 2025 exam. But we are going to prepare you in steps to that process. And we believe that 10 hours a week is sufficient, maximum 15. Reading assignments, again, will be followed up and will include your development as a test taker of 10 multiple choice questions for every chapter that you read. You're going to develop your own multiple choice questions, A through at least C, but if you do A through D, of what chapter you just read. You're going to send me questions, and on a separate piece of paper, electronically, you will send me an answer key. You will put your name on that document. I will receive that. We will vet those questions, and we will send that out, myself and my team, to your classmates. And we call that switch questions. So that as part of your homework, and let's just say we give you a reading assignment and we meet in 2 weeks, I would like those questions back before the end of those 2 weeks so that we can send those questions to each of your classmates to allow them as part of the review on the same chapter that they read and wrote questions on to complete your questions. Then we complement that effort with live lectures as an added review. So everyone completes switch questions. Everyone will receive switch questions. If you completed them, you're going to receive some. I don't want to receive questions after the class. The goal is to receive it before. Now, when we gave this class for years live and in person, we would start the class at 8 a.m. And we would switch those questions the moment you walked into a hotel, study site location or a training facility location or at our corporate office training locations. We would go from 8 to 9:30, allowing you a chance to do those switch questions. So what we've done now that we moved this class to a virtual platform, we do the same thing. So I would like to have those questions from everyone prior to the start of the class on Sunday so that I could distribute those to each student. So if you choose to work on those questions from 8 a.m. to 9:30 on the morning of the lecture, you can. But if you want to complete them prior to Sunday morning, you can, and start the class at 9:30. Test exercise questions, again, will also be included in the distribution of homework. I will always give you a test question samples to complete. For example, complete a particular exam 1 through 40. And I will always give you answer keys provided to each student so that you're not sitting there scratching your head trying to figure out where this question is going and how is it referenced and what does it mean and how. That's not the goal of preparing for the exam. The goal is to educate you and make you familiar with the material. So we give you answer keys so that if when you read the question and you try to answer it and you can't, look at your answer key. Look at the answer where it is referenced, what the answer is, and work backwards. And as you become more familiar with the material, again, you will need to reference the answer key in advance a lot less frequently as you mature. But we don't want to wait 2-3 months for you to get to that effort. We are preparing you for a date in October to be your best on that exam. So I've mentioned it a couple of times. This is an individual effort in a group format. So individual assistance in education tutorials, again, is available. Instructor availability for individual discussions on interpretations, reference, review, and your own progress. All students will develop their own problem book. And a problem book is going to be like your diary. I want each of you to have a notebook that you write to yourself. If you're doing a test exam, and let's just say you're working on the April 2019 exam and you got to question 41. And in your research of the correct answer, you were stumped. You didn't understand the difference between country of origin and country of origin marking. So what you do is in your problem book, you write yourself a memo. April 2019 exam, question 41. I read the question on country of origin marking, and I referenced section 102 from the regulations, and I couldn't find the answer. The reason that you write that note is to remind yourself of a challenge. Now, if by chance you stumble upon the correct answer at a later point in time, so be it. You still have recorded what challenged you. But if not, in a review, when I ask as a group and I ask individually, what challenges or anything you want to talk about, you look at your problem book to remind yourself of what gave you a challenge. And if that is still a challenge to you that has gone unanswered, that's when you bring that to my attention. And I will provide that answer to you. All students prior to taking the exam will participate in a discussion meeting with me at least 30 days prior to the exam on my summary of your progress to that point and my recommendation to you to go ahead and register for the exam, or if I believe you're ready, if I think your progress has been made to the point where you are on target to be successful and be very competitive in the exam to obtain a passing grade. But if not, if I think that you need more time, I will tell you 30 days prior to the exam, it is my recommendation that you need to hold your registration, continue studying, and take the next exam in April of 2026. So that is a discussion that I will have with everyone. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I say, I don't think you're ready, but the student continues to progress and ends up passing. Sometimes I say, I think you are ready, and the student sometimes comes up a little bit short, right? However, we have that open dialogue individually, not as a group, in preparing for the next step. And again, as I open by saying, I welcome you, I congratulate you on your interest in the exam. I congratulate you on participating in this open house session because it's a big decision. I remember, you know, my decision and my aspiration for wanting to take the exam is I wanted the recognition that comes with the definition of a licensed individual as being an industry expert. I wanted more money. I wanted to be able to increase my value in the industry. I wanted to impact my professional career with a goal of attaining this license. And I know it's a big decision. So I congratulate you for that. But if you want to get a snapshot of a broker, a snapshot of the material, then whether you have registered for the class or not, I will invite you to read CFR Title 19, Part 111 on customs brokers. But if you've registered, and once you register, a pre-reading class assignment that I'm extending to everyone is to read, again, CFR Title 19, Part 111, and then write 10 multiple choice questions on a separate page with a separate answer key. Then read CFR Title 19, Part 113 on customs bonds. Write an additional 10 multiple choice questions with a separate answer key on a separate page. Then I want you to email the switch questions to renniealston@comcast.net. That is going to be your pre-reading assignment prior to June 22nd. For those who, again, have participated in this particular open house format and is looking to start the process. So at this point, I open up the lines of communication to you all. Again, you can email me at renniealston@comcast.net. You can call me at 908-313-7605. But any questions that you have, feel free to ask them. There's no questions that should go unasked. This effort requires a commitment and participation. So if you are shy, we're going to have to overcome that, right? If you are hesitant in expressing any inquiries and your mindset is to figure it out on your own and then ask, we're going to correct that. Ask anything. So again, I'm available for you with any questions, any inquiries regarding the preparation needs at 908-313-7605 or renniealston@comcast.net. Additionally, you can contact our education and training coordinator, Natalie Lopez, at nlopez@americanrivergroup.com. At this point, I want to thank you for your interest, for your participation in today's event, and hope you have a fantastic day.